Okay, awesome. Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Chair Yoga podcast. In today's episode, we have Julia, who is going to talk to us about office yoga. I know I'm a little bit early, about 1 minute early before Julia comes on. So while I am waiting, I might as well tell you a little bit about her. And when I see her coming up as one of the people that is watching, I will invite her on. There we go. Julia is the founder of Warrior Princess Yoga, an experienced yoga teacher and continuous education provider. She loves yoga and loves yoga teacher trainings and believes that yoga is for everyone, not only in terms of physical, cognitive, and emotional accessibility, but also bringing yoga, out of the way of my screen, but also bringing yoga into all aspects of our lives. During the lockdown, she developed a class called Office Yoga, and which has helped all her students through the tough times of isolation in their home offices. Julia has been teaching this class for since the lockdown, online and on site to companies all over Copenhagen. Furthermore, she developed a 30-hour office yoga teacher training to bring this wonderful practice into the offices around the world while researching additional inspiration and skills for these chair-based yoga classes. She came across my offerings about a year ago, and we connected online, and ever since we have been quite close meeting each other and talking to each other all the time. So there we go, Julia. So I accepted that. I think I am going to try again. Accept. There we go. That worked. So I was giving them the introduction that you sent across to me. I'm having real issues with a little telephone holder. I'm having here. So I had to balance my phone against my laptop screen.
Yeah, me too.
It's fine. So how are you today? And thank you for coming on board.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm fantastic. Has been a little bit gray, but very productive day here in Denmark.
Fantastic. It's really nice to see you and hear you. I already gave the audience an introduction, but I want you to tell me a little bit more about you and the significance of teaching yoga for the demographics that you teach yoga to.
Great, thanks. Well, my name is Julia, and I'm the founder of Warrior Princess Yoga, and I teach all different kinds of yoga. So I'm a full-time teacher here in Denmark. And during the lockdown, I kind of had to move everything online, and I have a corporate background. So I've been working in consultancy and IT sales, so very stressful, high-paced jobs. And I had the idea, why not bring the yoga into the offices? So I made a class called Office Yoga. And we had it every day, half an hour, 25 minutes it was usually. And that's how the whole office yoga idea actually started during the lockdown.
That is amazing to hear that, because I see it for myself and also for my husband. The spaces which we work in are not designed for us to be seated down all the time. And there could be all sorts of physical imbalances happening as we work. And the longer we work in this environment, maybe we will be more injured, shall we say.
Yes, I see it a lot in my students also when I teach normal yoga classes in the offices. It's just really the common problems of back pain, shoulder, neck, but it's also how we breathe. And we're sitting in this position of like compressing our lung space, our nervous system, the blood, everything is kind of like compressed, especially when we have a fold posture when we are sitting. So with the office yoga, what we're trying to do is first of all, also getting awareness on how do you sit if you have to sit the whole day. So get up as much as you can, but when you sit up tall, use your core muscles, create space for your lungs, relax your shoulders, you know. But we also work with eyes. So because, you know, we have this distance for our eyes and we get tired and get headaches, and using our eyes, looking around, periphery, far, close, all these things, right? It's also part of office yoga.
It is fantastic to hear that because one of the things that I'm doing now, of course, always in training, you enrolled in more training too recently, always in training. But one of the things we were told in recent training is that we need to interrupt those harmful patterns in our body. So whether it takes 2 minutes or whether it takes 1 minute or 10 or an hour, whatever, it happens in a way that interrupts the harmful patterns, and therefore we continue on moving and sitting, I guess, better, so that we doesn't result into an injury. So I love to hear that, because yes, it is our eyes, our shoulders, our neck, our posture, the core, the back, all those sorts of things need, or you know, our breathing space needs to be decompressed. So all those things are very, very important. So when it comes to corporate what are the benefits of teaching within that space? Say that you go into an office. What would be the benefits of teaching within that space? Tell our audience, because I can think of a few as well.
Oh, I'd like to hear you as well. Well, first of all, it's really the accessibility of bringing it where the people are. Because people run after work to their families, having other duties, and do not prioritize having a yoga class. Usually these office yoga classes are in the middle of the day, so the employer also gives them the time in their work time to take care of themselves.
Yeah.
So, and this, just for some people who need a break from the monitor and just want to have like, okay, let's do some yoga, and then they get inspired and might go to studio, start prioritizing well-being later on. So that is definitely something I can see. And also it brings different departments together. Sometimes you see, you know, it's a little bit of a cluster, like the developers, the salespeople, you know, but everybody comes to office yoga. A lot of men, actually, you know, people you would usually not see in studios around in Copenhagen. So it's really great because there's no barrier of having a yoga mat, rolling out a mat. You go into your chair that is already a familiar item, and you have your little safe space, and you don't have to do anything but show up.
Yeah, I agree entirely with that. And I absolutely love the idea, because I used to teach a class here which stopped at lockdown, has not returned unfortunately yet, and I think it hasn't returned because they were not keen on online, and they haven't gone back to the office fully yet.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to sit it out and wait and see what happens. But what I'm trying to say is that I saw so many people come together, and an opportunity to socialize was definitely there. Whether it was mat or chair that we were using, the opportunity to meet one another and exchange words beyond work was very, very beneficial to them. So it isn't just, I know I write in my book to say the older people we bring together because they haven't got many social opportunities. Actually, we don't have many social opportunities. It's work and home, and we have to create those. So can you tell us what can we do as yoga teachers? How can a yoga teacher basically approach teaching yoga within that corporate and office environment? Maybe attempt getting yoga classes, or basically showcase how beneficial it can be within that environment, so that it can result into getting a yoga class within that space.
Sorry, my doggy wants some attention. Yeah, I mean, that's really two things. Bongo. Sorry, I can show you the cutie here. It's like,
aww.
Hey, Bongo. So I think we have to differentiate between the two different types of classes, like a mat-based and a chair-based yoga class. So if someone is already, just give me 1 second. Bongo. Go to bed. Go to bed. Go. All right, I'm back.
My dogs have not returned from their walk yet. So if not returned from the walk yet, there's a good chance I have left the door ajar that Muffin, the Chihuahua, is going to come and is going to shoot up and she's going to do her little doggy parkour around the bedroom and the living room. You see how she's like pure athleticism. So yes, excuse the interruptions for anyone tuned in. Thank you for being here.
All right. So if we are thinking mat-based yoga, I think the easiest would be to, first of all, if you are working in an office, then start there, right? Talk to HR. I would always recommend that they also pay you for this because it's a different kind of work you're doing, and you shouldn't just work for free because it's our own company we are working in. Otherwise, you can always ask friends and family to get started. Or just like walk up to local businesses like LinkedIn. I use a lot to connect with human resources people, culture manager, usually people you would like to talk to. But that's like for the office yoga. I would say it's important that you know what you're doing. So if it's not a mat-based class, if you have never done any share-based yoga, I would recommend join a few classes. I have a weekly office yoga class online. You have different trainings and classes in share-based yoga. See how it resonates, because we can only teach what we truly embody and resonates with ourselves. So if you feel like, oh, this is something I want to do, then take a training, learn more about share-based asanas. Office yoga has a specific sequence, as I believe truly that it's not only postures we should bring into the classrooms. We always meditate. We always have some breathing exercises. There will be even some yoga philosophy sneaking in, even in 25, 30 minutes. So yeah, do the classes yourself, see how it resonates, take a training, and then just go for it.
Yeah, there are so many elements because I'm thinking, I mean, I haven't been in an office for a very long time other than, go in and teach and come out. I stopped working in 2007 in an office environment, and I was finding it hard to get on with so many people within the same space. And I found exactly the same when I was associating myself with the other moms in the schools with my son. So it is natural not to get on with everybody and accept that that will be the case. And work towards patience towards others, your relationships and kindness, and always nurture this attitude that that it's not going to be perfect, and once you accept that, then everything actually falls into space and you can be in harmony within that environment. So yeah, I love that. Love the eye exercises and maybe fingers and thumbs as well, because we're sitting, our wrists and fingers get a good workout typing. So it's really important to highlight those. If somebody's going to pitch themselves to get, shall we say, a job within that space, is really, really nice to see that. What role does the yoga play in that office, shall we say? I guess it is accessible, but what is your experience? Do you think that it is, I mean, I know this is a closed question and excuse that, but do you think it attracts more people to come and practice, or do you think that they just think it is for older people and they're not going to do it? What is the attitude? What attitude have you met towards teaching chair yoga in an office?
People love it. They're always so surprised what you can do on a chair, when you start doing, like, I have one company I've been working for almost 2 years with, weekly office yoga. We're doing warrior postures on the chair, like, of course, we're building up to have the skills for that. And people are like, wow, I didn't know I could do this. And very often the reaction after a class, like, oh, I'm so relaxed now. And we do these classes also ideally before lunchtime. So we are actually preparing also our digestion to function much better when we're relaxed, right? So activating the parasympathetic nervous system. And people always go out of a class and say, oh, I didn't even know what to expect. And I feel relaxed, I feel great. And they come back. you know, in one of the companies we are in public space, so people walking around. And I feel this is also an opportunity to make mindfulness meditation much more accessible and normal in an office environment, because we repeat some of the tools, like some of the breathing, some of the meditation. It's like, okay, you know these tools now, so if you're stressed, you can start doing it, and it should be you know, like how to say, approved from your colleagues. It's like, oh, she's just sitting there and taking a few breaths, that's okay, and you feel comfortable doing that, right? So it has been very warmly welcome, and it's growing a little bit here in Copenhagen as well, which I'm very happy about, and hopefully also online, because office yoga, share yoga works really well online as well.
Yeah, I agree with you entirely. Of course I do. That's what I do mostly. What else would I do? But it's nice that that there is this shared experience, regardless of age, ability, accessibility, whatever else chair yoga is pitched for, that the outcome can be exactly the same, which is feeling relaxed, at peace and comfort in their body, and accepting towards something that, you know, you never thought was going to be so effective, basically. Like that. So we should be advocates towards chair yoga more and pitch it to more able bodies, because then we can change the attitude that of what yoga is, yes, overall, not just, you know, chair yoga, but in general yoga. So what is your takeaway from this discussion, and where can we find you, and what is going on in your side of the business right now?
Yeah, so I think my biggest takeaway, or what I would like the viewers to take, is yoga is not limited to the mat. Even in a mat-based class, I always try to inspire my students to take something with them from that practice into the rest of the day. But it's really, you can do it anytime. Yoga is a way of living, using the tools in the work environment. I think that this is, for me, a really, really big takeaway. And yeah, so you can find me here on Instagram, Warrior Princess Yoga, or warriorprincessyoga.com. It's my website. And there's a few things coming up. So I have I'm just doing a yoga for beginners course. There won't be so much chair yoga in that, but we have the weekly chair yoga based office yoga classes. People can contact me from their companies as well if they want to do something. Also, as yoga teachers, I have this office yoga teacher training, which some companies can sponsor you to take it, because then they train you to enable you to teach inside the company. So thinking outside the box a little. Yeah, so classes, training, I got it all.
And you have quite a lot of teacher trainings coming up far into this earth, shall we say. And I hope you're going to have lots of fun in those. Julia is teaching a few teacher trainings. And are you teaching in the Ibiza yoga fitness retreat, is it?
Yeah, yoga fit retreats. Next Sunday I'm flying to Ibiza. It's also a British-owned business, family business, so it's more like a yoga festival. So I have a few classes there. We do face yoga, yoga nidra. Yeah, and we also use a lot of face yoga actually for office yoga, because we have so much tension, eyes, jaw.
You'll be surprised how much you clench your teeth when you're working, actually.
Oh yeah.
It's actually a joke, but yes. Thank you so much for being such a wonderful guest. I'm really enjoying interviewing you and seeing your beautiful face again. Because Julia and I keep messaging each other. It's like, she's up like 6 o'clock. I'm normally up at 5. So we're up at the same time of the day. And normally she messages me and I'm like, hi. And she's like, you're up. I'm like, yes, always up at 5 o'clock. So thank you. Lovely to see you again. And I am a little bit behind. That's for our audience. I'm a little bit behind on publishing my podcast because of recent book publishing. I had a lot to edit and put forward to get the book out into the wide world. I think it is out into the wide world now. Just need to wait a couple more days for Amazon to sort everything out, and then it's going into wider distribution next week, hopefully as well. So yes, thank you for joining us, and thank you for being here, everybody. I should have Julia's episode in a few weeks. So thank you, everybody. Bye.